If you're a woman over 40 that's trying to lose 10 to 40 pounds, but every time you try to eat healthier, your stomach fights back, this video is for you. I'm talking about bloating, discomfort, urgency, and reflux, or that feeling that your body can't tolerate the foods that you've been told are good for you. And what makes this especially frustrating is that you're probably doing the right things. You're trying to follow a healthy program, you're cutting out fast food, but instead of feeling better, your digestion feels worse. And because of this, weight loss stalls. Here's the real problem. Most weight loss plans are not designed for women with sensitive digestion. A lot of women are pushed towards calorie tracking, macro plans with high protein and low carb, and intense exercise. Others may try Ozempic only to realize that the digestive issues are too much to stomach. And for the women who finally try to eat more plants and more fiber, which is one of the healthiest directions you can go in, they're often told just to push through the gas and bloating, and that their bodies will adapt. While this helps for some women, a lot of times this advice backfires. Women with sensitive digestion start thinking they're the problem. They become uncomfortable, discouraged, and feeling like there's no hope, when really, that approach was not designed specifically for them. In this video, I'm going to show you a calmer, more personalized path, one that helps you to settle your digestion first so that weight loss becomes possible and easy. And I don't do this work alone. I work as part of a small interdisciplinary team. We work with a registered dietitian and movement support so that your body isn't under stress while you're changing. If that sounds like something you've been missing, stay with me. And if you want help, by the end of this video, you can book a short call and we'll develop an evidence-based program that's tailored to your needs. Let me show you why this is so hard to do on your own and why having an evidence-based approach that's tuned into your body can make all the difference. So have you ever been told any of the following statements? Everything looks normal. That's a tough one. Try more fiber. You might need to lose some weight. Or if you're dealing with gut issues, try a low FODMAP diet. Maybe you've heard it's probably stress. Or one of the worst ones to hear, really, it's just part of getting older. This is inevitable. And maybe you've had some of these issues. Have you tried eating healthier, but when you do, your stomach feels worse? You have tried to eat more fiber, but you're dealing with bloating and gas, and it's unbearable and painful. And maybe doctors are telling you that now is the time that you need to lose weight if you don't want to get on medication. But they haven't given you any guidance or support. It's very common. Now, why is this work personal to me, you might ask? Throughout my childhood, I was very sick. I continued gaining weight almost every point of my life. I was always the child who struggled to run, the child getting sick with pneumonia, the child that was struggling with gut pain at the age of 10. And by 12 years old, I thought I was going to die. I was praying for an answer. I went to the doctors, I did the tests, I did everything right, and at the end of the day, people didn't know what was wrong with me. They said, things look mostly normal, yet there I was taking 4 Imodium a day, running to the bathroom, dealing with a lot of anxiety around food, around travel, and not knowing how to share this with others and who to trust. My symptoms continued to escalate, and there were no clear answers in sight. Now, before we get started, I want you to ask, are you the type of person that wants to change, that wants to improve their health? This program is not for people that want quick fixes, that want to just take a pill and keep continuing life as normal. Chances are you're here today on this video because what we've done in the past is not working. Now, if you're not willing to commit to yourself or invest in your health, if you're not willing to take that time and energy and work with somebody who has the ability to support you, then this program is not for you. So you might want to turn this video off, watch some of the other videos in education, but moving forward is not going to be the most supportive for you. And finally, if you're not coachable and if you think you have all the answers already, then this is not going to be a program that's going to be supportive, because one of the leading predictors is whether people actually follow the plan. And if you do believe you have the answers, I encourage you to give that a try to see if it works for you. But it's just not going to be helpful to join a program without really taking the advice of those that have been there, that have read the research, and that have continued to get great results for women. Now, if you've tried to lose weight before, many women I talk to have been trying to lose weight for 5, 10, 15, even 20 years. And there are a lot of approaches out there. Some are not that great. Some are not evidence-based. Some are potentially harmful, right? There's 1,000 ways to lose weight. And some are really great. They're evidence-based, but they also may be difficult to implement on your own. So we'll go through a few different options. One of the most common I'm seeing in the weight loss field is calories in, calories out. If you just track your calories, you lower them a little bit more, and you exercise more, maybe you gain some muscle, then that could be a great way to lose weight. And I assure you that it does work. There are women, there are men, there are people that are losing weight, taking amazing before and after photos, and it works for a few months, works for 6 months, but in the long term, this has been very damaging, not just to your microbiome and your gut, but to your metabolism. Now, if you take the approach of not changing your diet at all, just cutting calories, what happens is that your metabolism can slow. And while there are ways to address that, and people are using some very unique methods called reverse dieting, we're not going to get into that today, but that is not something you need to do if you're actually eating nourishing, healthful foods. You should be losing weight and boosting your metabolism in the process. Now, many have encouraged intense exercise. There are a lot of programs out there for women that encourage you to work out every single day. And while it is important to exercise, it is important to move. Many women are feeling uncomfortable in their bodies. They're in pain. They're inflamed. It may be actually harmful to pick up heavy weights. Each person has a different situation, but the intense exercise does not need to be your starting point and does not need to happen for you to still get amazing results. It can also make gut issues worse. Certain programs that encourage us to increase the protein, increase the exercise, can leave you feeling in pain and burnt out. And one of the most common approaches nowadays that's growing day after day is GLP-1, or these inhibitors that allow us to eat whatever we want, but to feel full. And the side effects, or as I like to call effects, are that we have major gastrointestinal symptoms. A lot of the times we have diarrhea-like symptoms, maybe constipation, bloating, and pain, and nearly half of the people that start these medications need to come off of them. These can be very helpful and supportive, but many of the women I talk to don't want to be on them for life. So if you are taking these medications or considering taking these medications, there are ways that you can actually still use diet and lifestyle to improve your health and to, if you'd like, potentially come off those so you don't have to be on those for the rest of your life. And finally, some people actually get good information, but the information is not tailored to them. They may have received an evidence-based healthy diet approach, but when they go to implement it, they're dealing with painful bloating. That's something I've experienced, and a lot of women I know have experienced as well. So if that's you, keep watching. Now, this is really difficult to do alone. Accountability and having someone on your team can make the difference. And as we learn from social behavior, the peer pressure around us can get us to do all kinds of crazy things. And we think about dangerous activities, we think about drugs, but when you think about food, it's just as difficult to overcome social pressure. Your family may be resistant. If you're a woman that cooks meals for your family, this can be difficult. I hear a lot from women, I don't want to cook 2 meals or 3 meals for family. And I get it. It's difficult. I've heard from women that they don't trust their husbands with this information, that if they told them they were trying to get healthier, their husbands wouldn't support it. It can be very difficult. You also, while navigating this process alone, maybe you start to lose weight, maybe you start to feel better, and you get questions like, where do you get your protein? You're looking really skinny. Are you sure you're healthy? And you start to read conflicting advice. Maybe there's an article that's been published online and you don't know if this is real or false. Maybe you're looking at the new dietary guidelines that just came out, those that were heavily funded by industry. And you're wondering, do I need to follow these guidelines now? It can get very confusing if you don't know how to sort through the information and determine fact from fiction. There's also a lot of fear of having these symptoms in public, right? I know from firsthand experience and from women that I'm working with that the anxiety comes from the uncertainty, comes from just existing in our society where we get into a car, where it's difficult to find bathrooms, where we're constantly traveling. And it can be so hard to do this when no one understands you. They expect you to just be able to act like everyone else does. And one of the major issues is that no one is helping you to pace this change so that you can go at a pace that gets you great results, so that you feel like you're making progress, but that you're not in pain and suffering through it. Now, what finally changed things for me? I stopped treating digestion, weight, and stress as different problems that I had to solve individually. I started realizing that my digestion was going to be improved by nutrition and lifestyle. And I did not try to lose weight. The 35 pounds I lost came right off. And that was because I was just following dietary advice and improving my diet day after day after day. I also sought out wise mentors and experts. Now, not every mentor or expert had all the answers, but they were supportive every step of the way. And I know that that is not very common. My parents were supportive. My girlfriends were supportive. My friends were not as supportive or not as knowledgeable, but many people I talked to, their significant others, their husbands are not on the same page. Their family members are concerned or confused. Their grandkids don't know why they don't want to eat fast food with them anymore, right? I had supportive community every step of the way, and I know how important it is to have healthy community to support you on your journey. So why should you listen to me? Because I really encourage you to question any internet authority, especially someone that sends you a video on YouTube. In addition to healing my own irritable bowel syndrome, to calming my gut, to being able to reincorporate the foods that are healthful but difficult at times to eat, in addition to losing 35 pounds and keeping it off for over a decade, I wanted to learn what it takes to actually support people on a health journey from beginning to end, to build healthy habits and address all of the barriers that keep us stuck. Because it is not your willpower that determines why most Americans are struggling with weight and gut issues. It is a systemic environmental issue, and it takes an evidence-based program to help you on your journey. I got a bachelor's of psychology to understand mentally what keeps us healthy, what makes us unhealthy. I learned that diet and nutrition were vital to mental health and physical health. And if we don't have our physical health, it is very hard to be mentally healthy. So I got a master's of social work and a master's of public health so that I could develop evidence-based programs, understand the peer-reviewed literature, and not only help you to lose weight and calm your digestion, but also make sure that we're taking actions that are preventing long-term disability. Quality of life years, the years that we live where we're suffering, are growing day after day. I watched my grandparents live to 89 and tell me that they had 85 good years. My goal is to maximize the amount of years where you're enjoying your life and enjoying your retirement. Throughout this process, I learned about the mind-gut connection. I found yoga to be extremely calming for my body. The deep breathing, the mindfulness, the meditation. I learned to undo the hypersensitivity in my gut, both through diet and lifestyle and through meditative, mindful practices. We've now seen, since I was able to reverse my IBS and heal my gut to calm the hypersensitivity, that gut-directed hypnotherapy has some promising research, and I'm grateful to say that mindfulness and meditation has helped me on that process. But I know that in order to truly help somebody, it takes an interdisciplinary team. It takes people that can develop an evidence-based program, that can be there, support you, and coach you every step of the way. And for many of us, it may take a dietitian to actually prescribe you a directive plan that can support you on your journey, whether you're struggling with type 2 diabetes, hypertension, or other diagnoses that we know nutrition can have a big impact in supporting. That's why we want to work with the medical team. We're not against medicine. We simply understand that the systems that are in place right now, the insurance and reimbursement systems, are unfortunately not very supportive of getting you long-term health and help. Finally, we also acknowledge that movement and support are vital. I partner with Steph Johnson, who has over 20 years of experience teaching movement here in Atlanta. She has taught over 6,000 classes and 80,000 students. And she's developed a practice that helps you find your center, to calm your nervous system, and to empower your posture so that you're able to maintain health and vitality for as long as you live. And finally, these practices are done online, but also in person here in Atlanta. We know that healthy community is vital, and we continue to meet up to teach about the medicines of plants through foraging events, through plant-based potlucks, through get-togethers at restaurants, because we know that you can have all the information in the world, but if you're doing it alone, if there's not a community, it is very hard to maintain for the long term. The whole health method is a holistic process. We understand that you can't put everything into words, and each person needs an individually tailored process. However, we also know that behind our needs, what dictates our success are four main categories. There's biological, psychological, social, and spiritual. On the biological level, we know that hydration, rest, food, connection, exercise, getting outside and breathing fresh air, right? Everything that impacts our biology can impact how we're feeling. And a lot of these treatments, a lot of the systems in place only focus on one small detail. We need to zoom out a little bit and see the whole. We also understand psychologically whether we believe that we can improve our health, whether we believe that we can actually carry out healthy behaviors, whether we think that these healthy behaviors are normal or good or evidence-based and supportive. These will predict whether we actually take those behaviors, whether we improve our health or whether we stay stuck, right? So how to deal with the way we perceive our situation. If we just continue to wait, and we don't take action on our health, right? Because we don't know who to trust. We don't know if we can make an impact. That can really hold you back. We know socially, as I just mentioned, that we need community and support. And spiritually as well, how we see food, how food comes to us, right? If the food is coming from farms where there's love and care, or if the food's coming from a system that is unhealthful, right? If we're connecting with people, we can see that singing and harmonizing and coming together can have such great results. And we know that those who have a spiritual background often live longer and have more satisfying lives. Now, I want to share a few case studies. And the reason I'm calling this a case study is because if you've learned about how to make decisions about your health based on the research, case studies are the lowest level. And I can go through testimonials from every single program. From carnivore diet, which we know is not a sustainable long-term diet, you can still find 20 case studies, 30 case studies of people feeling better. So I want you to understand that the case studies are not to try to convince you that my program is going to work for you, is guaranteed to work for you, because the research really is what's here to show that. When we work with thousands and thousands of people, we look over decades. That is how we need to interpret whether something works or not. But I just want to share some stories because I think they can be enlightening. First, I want to share the story of Lark. She came to my talk in Buckhead, and she was in a lot of pain. She had just run to the bathroom, and even a bite of watermelon set her off. When I talked with her after, she mentioned that she'd been struggling with gastrointestinal issues for 6 years. Every single day, the joy was gone. She was in pain constantly. I'm happy to report that within just 2 weeks of working together, with recording the food, with tracking how she was feeling with her bowel movements, how she was feeling in her body, she was able to get out of pain and stay out of pain. Within 1 month, she had the joy return to her body. She felt better than ever, and she was extremely grateful. I encourage you to watch her video. She is amazing and a big light in my life. Her goal was to be able to be healthy enough to walk her daughter down the aisle. And when I checked back with her at the end of the 4 months, she said, "Josh, I know that sometimes these food changes are difficult. Socially, I want to eat out with friends, but I'm also not going to mess this up because I know how bad it feels to be in pain, and I just don't want that for myself anymore." And what I tell all the women here is that we're not seeking perfection. What we want to have happen is that you know what you're eating and how that can impact you, and that you make the best decision for yourself. So Lark is doing an amazing job staying authentic to her needs and also understanding what's going to get her the best results. I also want to share the story of Anne. She came to me mostly because she was interested in getting off of medication. She learned that a whole food plant-based diet, that improving your health can actually lessen your need for medication. And her doctors were very supportive of this. Her doctor at Emory was wondering what she was doing that was allowing her to get off of blood pressure medication. Her doctor first took her off one medication, then half of another, and continues to monitor her. And Anne told me that it's amazing to know the lever she can pull, that diet and her blood pressure are so connected. As a happy little side effect, Anne lost 19 pounds in 4 months without any exercise, without any chopping or any cooking, and you can watch her story. It is amazing. Finally, I want to share the story of our intern, Bella. Now, she's not a woman over 40, but when she joined our program from Georgia State University in the Masters of Social Work program, I gave her the information so she could understand what our clients are going through. She took it in stride. She made delicious meals, joined us on retreats, cooked for us, and as a result, her friends started asking, "What are you doing? Your skin's clearing up. You look to be skinnier." And she wasn't weighing herself. She didn't even have a scale, but she knew she felt better in her body. When we checked in, she was down 15 pounds in 2 months. She was able to lose 2 pounds a week, which is at the higher end of what's considered healthy. And she did it without increasing her exercise and without suffering. She was also not 100% in any form of fashion, but she found what was authentic to her. So if you're going to be working with us at the beginning of 2026, you'll get to meet Bella here in Atlanta and online. Now, this program is for women who are over 40 that want to feel confident in their bodies again. You may be dealing with IBS, with bloating, with unpredictable digestion. It may be more serious with Crohn's, colitis, or diverticulitis, right? You may be struggling with weight changes and you're gaining weight and you don't know what to do because, like I said, the healthy foods hurt at this moment in time. Your doctor may have also warned that medications are coming soon, or you may be on multiple medication like many women I work with, many women I talk with that just want to find ways to get off of them with the support of their medical team, but through diet and lifestyle rather than the medication route. You may be tired of endless restriction. A lot of women, a lot of men, and myself included, have restricted beyond the point where the science says is healthy. You may have cut out foods that you can add in healthfully, slowly, and supportive. You want an evidence-based, calm, step-by-step approach, and your goal is to live happier and healthier so that you can live a long, fulfilling life with good quality of life. So, I only take 5 women a month because this is a high-touch, one-on-one concierge service. We develop an individually tailored plan, and you have direct support from me. So we can't offer this to the world. I wish we could on a larger scale, but if you need that one-on-one help, we have limited spaces, so I'll show you how to reach out. Now, what happens if we wait? What happens if we decide not to improve our health? Well, our weight continues to increase, right? We miss vacations, we feel terrible, just like when I was traveling in Argentina and was unable to go see the glaciers because my stomach was in so much pain, right? We miss family occasions, our medications increase, our energy keeps slipping away, and chronic illness gets worse. And I'll tell you, when I work with women in their 40s and 50s, it can be a lot easier to manage than when we're in our 70s and 80s and we're dealing with multiple medication, right? So the earlier we address our health, the earlier we improve our health, the better. And if you do choose from this day forward to improve your health, to make that change, there's 2 paths you can go. You can try to do this on your own like I did. I got a Master's of Social Work and a Master's of Public Health. I learned from mentors, but it took me 8 years to really find the ideal diet and lifestyle for me. I didn't have one-on-one support. I had the community, but I didn't have a knowledgeable person in my corner. If you'd rather just take a few months to a year to see amazing change in your life, then it's worth considering working one-on-one. So, if you want to learn more about this program, if you want to see what an individually tailored program can look like for you, I encourage you to click the link below to book a call, and I'll talk with you one-on-one to see where you're at, where you'd like to go, and if our program can help get you there. And if it can, I want to start right away because your health is too important to wait. So rather than wait a few weeks to months, we get to start in the next day if there's space. And we want to continue to see progress day after day. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this helpful, please leave a comment. If you have a friend or family member that's dealing with gut issues that wants to lose weight, send them this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.